So let's just go over again a little bit about what you told me, like how you got into your medical debt and a little bit about how much it is.
He's standing right here. It's really embarrassing.
Well, you can kind of start being in the hospital, how long you were there and that kind of thing.
Well, it was a procedure is what it was. My prostate moved just a little bit, but it was enough to throw everything off kilter. My old dream backed up and backed up and backed up. I really didn't think of it because I can't afford to take time off from work.
Yeah.
It'll go away. It'll go away. I'm getting old, and that's just what happens. And it didn't go away.
Yeah.
And my bladder finally to the point where I had to urinate, but I couldn't tell when, and when it happened, I couldn't stop it. And it got to the point, every time I moved, there was a little bit more, a little bit more, a little bit more. It came to the point that it was really embarrassing because it was like actually showing. And that's when I made an appointment with the urologist, and he had said, I can see you 6 to 8 weeks from now. We can put a camera up there to find out what it is that's going on. And I'm at the point I can't wait 6 to 8 weeks. Walk downstairs and check myself into emergency. And that's when they had said, we're not going to keep you in emergency. We're actually going to admit you to the hospital. Your bladder's 4 inches out. You're through the CAT scan. They actually did a CAT scan right there in emergency in Morganton, and they said that all that backed up urine. And that's what it was. I didn't know what it was at the time. I just, I can't take time off from work. It had all gone up the wrong way. The wrong tube into my kidneys. Now my kidneys are starting to fail.
So you were in the hospital for how long?
Well, I was actually in a room for 28 days.
Wow.
And then I had to take 6 months off from work. That was hard because it just hits you. You're not ready for it. The bills, they don't care. They still want to get paid.
Yeah.
I still got to eat. And I was sending people to the church for food. Because they released me and I still had a catheter up there.
Yeah, you couldn't work.
I had a bag strapped to my leg. It hurt to move. It hurt to do anything. And it wasn't pee. It was all black because it was the infection that was in my kidneys that was draining is what it was. It was, for the first 2 or 3 months, it was all black. It wasn't urine.
So you had 3 surgeries while you were in there?
Well, technically they call it a surgery.
Okay.
As I was in the ER, they put a camera
and that counted.
through there. They call it a surgery. It's more of a procedure.
And after all of that, how much bills did you end up with, roughly?
Each time. The guy that put me under with the gas, he was $5,000 each, and he doesn't even work for the hospital. He works for an outfit in Tennessee somewhere. I got a bill from them for $15,000 just to knock me out for the emergency surgeries. And then each surgery, I think, was, God, 15.5, I think. And I had 3 of them. Plus the stay in the hospital. I have the nurses care. They're cooking food for me. They're pumping me full of medicines. And, I had 3 or 4 IVs in each arm. And all that adds up.
Yeah.
And that was almost an $80,000 hospital stay alone, just for the hospital. And then there was the follow-up, 6 months later, after I'd gotten the bag out and this out, they were still taking x-rays to see if I had, the infection was gone, and then I had to make another appointment for the kidney doctor because those were infected. I had to go see them. Nothing materialized out of that, but I still had to go through the CAT scan and the x-ray to see if my kidneys were okay. I almost had kidney failure and didn't even know it. I was still going to work, and